here at Gallaudet University's Kellogg Conference Center for the Office of the Tenant Advocate's first annual Tenant and Tenant Association Summit. Stay tuned for an exciting mix of interviews featuring elected officials, conference sessions, and tenant activists. We're here at the Office of the Tenant Advocate's first annual Tenant and Tenant Association Summit, and I'm here with one of the attendees of today's summit. Tell us why you're here today.
Well, my name is Campbell Johnson, and I'm chair of the Urban Housing Alliance. Also, I'm a board member of the Dorchester Tenants Association for 29 years, and for 5 years I was president of the Tenants Association. And I'm here to see something that I guess is way overdue. I'm so glad that Johanna Shreve has brought this into existence this time, but I think that it's important for us to have best practices throughout the city in terms of the tenants. Oftentimes the situation has been that the balance of power between property management companies and tenants is totally geared towards the property management companies. A lot of, even though DC is a 70% tenant city in terms of voters, residents are mostly 70% renters. Even though that's the case, and a lot of laws have been passed to support tenants, there have been ways that these $300 an hour attorneys have been able to manipulate their way around it. And in fact, if anyone's familiar with the 95.5 scandal that took place in DC, they've been able to undermine the laws substantially, and even with that been able to corrupt some public officials in that regard. So this is something that's very important, that's very necessary, way overdue, but I'm so glad to see it. We need a citywide tenants association. We also need best practices for the tenants in terms of running their own associations, and a lot of people need to have some knowledge, some boot camp type of experience in terms of how you do this sort of thing. Go ahead.
What is one of the key issues that you would like to get a best practice in? What's a challenge that you're dealing with where you could use support?
Well, one of the things is what's taking place now in many buildings across the city is sub-metering. In the building in which I'm located, I've been a tenant there for 29 years, there's an effort taking place whereby they're putting in heat pumps in each of the units. We formerly had our utilities included, but they're putting in these heat pumps without an authorization from the Department of Consumer and Regulatory Affairs, and they're going to be ultimately charging tenants for utilities. Utility expenses, electricity in the city is going to go up, according to the Public Services Commission, 18% this year. So tenants are really going to be put in a very, very bad way. And this kind of illegal construction that's taking place in the Dorchester is really problematic. And tenants need to have some viable strategies so that they can challenge these things.
What kind of support are you getting from the Office of the Tenant Advocate?
Well, in regard to this particular situation, I do have a tenant petition filed. It's going to be coming up for a hearing before too long, but that doesn't directly involve the Office of Tenant Advocate. They will facilitate people being able to prepare tenant petitions and give them some advice in that regard. But insofar as things that could take place, the advocacy that could be available, it would be nice if they could have an expanded mandate to directly work with the landlords to help them operate in a more even-handed fashion rather than in an avaricious fashion as they have been.
Okay. Thank you so much. And I wish you the best in this conference and bringing back great information to your tenant residents.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate the opportunity.
All right. We hope you enjoyed the conference. For more information on the Office of the Tenant Advocate, visit the website www.ota.dc.gov.